Okay, I'm live. Hi, dear friends. This is Vasimais. I hope you are doing great. I'm so happy to come and join you today for a conversation. I was traveling lately and I wanted to do so many videos, but I got a bit busy and I had a lot of things during this trip. Some were really good and some were really bad. So I came feeling still a bit tired and I need time to recover. But I have to get some work done so that I can send you some beauties from the shop and also answer to some of your emails. Um, and also getting back to you with some inspirations because I have watched Sadhana and Mixtress Rae videos about the paradox of choice, and I have lived it during my trip. Whether it's for decks or whether for other things. So I'm coming here to share with you about this. So Mixtress Rae have started this topic about so many decks, and sometimes it's so difficult to find the right choice. And we have been having this conversation, that's for sure, on YouTube and some Facebook groups. But I really felt it during this trip because I had to take just a small luggage, so I had to choose between my decks, and I took just two tarot decks, which are the first one is Revival Art Tarot, and its companion, which is the Lost Tarot. I have received it on my shop and I wanted to just play with it because I'm really enjoying it. So I just took this two with me after really long process of thinking and choosing. And it might seem that sometimes the choices we have to make have to be very thought about, right? And we might feel burdened by the choices we have to make during one day, whether it's what type of food do I want to eat, what type of meal do I want to have, what type of activities to do, what type of tarot cards to use, and so on. There are so many, it's just so many choices we have to make nowadays for everything. And one of the reasons is that we have to admit it, we are living in abundance. Whatever people say, whatever the news say, we live in abundance. Everything is just available to us. We don't need to go and look for it. We don't need to go and make a lot of effort to have it. Of course, we have to work to earn that money to have them, but at the same time, there is no physical implication or physical activity that we need to do to get these things. Some of us have their own garden or their own veggies to grow, water to or source water to go get water from, and so on, but not all of us. So this abundance that we live in, we didn't learn how to deal with it or how to honor it in a sacred way, in a sacred, in a sacred way, and to use it, because all what is available for us is not just to be observed, or kept, is to be used, because I believe that there is this law of movement. We have to keep things moving. We have to keep things rolling, whether it's for us or whether for others. If we are not using some products, some clothes, we have to just get them rolling, whether you use them or your closed ones or just give them away. And for the decks, we always have these cards saying that maybe one day I will use them. And for sure, of course, that's our decision to make of how long do we need to keep things. Is just a full life, or let's say 20 years, 40 years, enough to keep things and thinking that we might use them one day? Always remember these people I have seen and I have worked with and I have met, they elders, and they were living alone. So I was working in this organization where we had to find people to, get along with them and fight in the loneliness, because whatever they had in their lives, what was missing is that social part. So they had a lot of things, but they were missing the factor of sharing things with others, exchanging with them. So there is a big part of socializing with the things that we have. We wear clothes in order to show ourselves to the world. How do we show ourselves to the world? Our cars to make a connection with us, but also to make a connection with others. Even food, a magnificent way to connect with others. So there is this aspect also that I feel is one of my priorities with the things that I own. I don't think I own anything. I'm just a keeper in a way. So that changes our whole perspective on things. As a keeper of a house or of cards or of books, I am just holding them while I am alive so that I can use them for me and for others to be of service. And that's another aspect that's very, very important. The other thought that I had regarding these videos that I watched is that during my trip, before I talk about cars, I had this difficulty to find restaurants or places where to eat. And it has been really something new I experienced, like really taking ages for me to find the right one, the right place where I want to eat. And I might have lost like maybe 30 minutes every time to find the right spot where to eat. And it's quite interesting because in every choice we make, because we live in abundance, there's so many restaurants. Because we live in abundance, we have to specify the criteria of choices we have to make. Let's say a restaurant, I prefer like veggies or fish. It has to be like most of the time organic. It has to be close, not that far, so I don't lose time on the transportation. It has, to be close to maybe like a metro station or a bus station and so on. So there are all these criteria that one might think about while choosing a restaurant. But there is also some criteria that belong to the heart, to our inner guidance, which is, does it feel right to eat at this place? Does it feel right to do something? And sometimes it's not logical, and it doesn't go well with the logical side. You might have a restaurant that is very good, close to your place, or just not that expensive, but it doesn't feel right to eat there or to be there. So there is this missing aspect also that sometimes we forget when making decisions, and we base them solely on what we think we love, what we think is good, what we don't want to regret, and things like that. So yeah, there is this aspect that I feel like it's really important to put forward. Another thing that I found very interesting about this topic, and I will leave the videos below so that you can understand where I'm coming from and watch the other videos. I find the discussion about this very interesting, is that, do we really know what we want as a human being living here? Do we really know what we want from a mind perspective or from a soul perspective? Even about the decks, sometimes we want some cards because they are new, they are lovely, they look attractive, but at the same time, does my soul want to take that deck? Is it triggering something within? So there is this question that we need to come back to, which is, what is it that I want? And that we need to define it. We need to define this multiplicity of beings that inhabit us. And I talk more about that in the feminine and masculine pack. We have multiple personalities within us. We have the mother, we have the kid, we have the wounded child, we have the happy child, the adventurous child. We have so many personalities within us, and every one of them tries to make a decision if we let them. Right? So who or what personality is riding when we decide about things? It's really interesting to notice. When I take a decision about a restaurant, the first layer would be, is it of quality? Because I want to eat something of quality. I don't spend much on food because I don't eat that much, I think. But where I eat, I want it to be really quality. It doesn't mean that it has to be elaborate. It can be very simple, but it has to have a taste. It has to feel right. So there is this kind of like, I am responsible for my own body and what gets within my body. That this is the archetype that gets out. For the decks, there is the archetype of the priestess, and seeing a veil in every deck. Will this deck reveal something to me? Is this deck coming from a guidance? Is it allowing me to awaken or to remember or to help others? So there is these aspects, you see different archetypes coming out. So getting to know these personalities will definitely help us knowing who is deciding today. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a fear? Is it coming from a love? Is it coming from soul perspective? And also something interesting to do is to get back to simplicity. Simplicity of things makes life magical. So giving in this example, I have just taken 2 decks. I usually use a lot of decks during the day. Like just the morning spread, I think I use like at least 5 decks. 4 or 5 decks minimum. So just taking 2 decks for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't even expect to stay longer, but it was difficult for me. But at the same time, this is what I felt I have to do. And in the meantime, where I was staying, I was gifted an oracle deck. And I was not expecting it. I was not really expecting that. And I received a beautiful oracle deck about plants, which I love and I keep studying. So magic starts when we make space for it, when things are easy and simple, when things are fluidity, and also without fear, trying just to trust. Even in relationships, talking about this today, I'm trying to put a lot of things in one video, but I have a lot of things to share. Even in relationships, knowing a lot of people or knowing a lot of friends, or if you are open to a relationship and you are meeting man or meeting woman in order to find the right one for you, keeping things simple and trusting that what you are living is for a reason, even if it doesn't work in the sense of expecting a long-term relationship. We meet people and we have these decks for a reason, for reasons. Some of them are clear and some of them are not. If we are guided to free ourselves from some relationships or some cards, we have to accept that also and trust that life is always a running and turning wheel. And Tarot teaches us that. It teaches us that everything continues to move on. And you see these steps in the major cards. And you see the impact in the 4 of coins when everything is stuck and you try to hold to it. Protection. We need to protect what we have. We need to protect our heart. But by protecting what we have, we end up suffocating. and we end up not using the maximum, the potential, the ultimate potential of what we are holding to. So there is a trust that needs to be in everything we do. And when you find that you are not trusting, I did this during my trip, because some days have been really challenging for me, emotionally, physically, and meditation helped me a lot and is still helping, because I choose to not choose. In a meditative state, you decide to step back and not do anything, but to observe. Of course, maybe you can say that not making a choice, is it possible? Yeah, well, it's a lie, really, because as a human being, we are always meant to choose. But I choose to step back and to observe instead of act or react to things. And also to free myself from any fear of, oh, this might happen or this might not happen. Okay, and if it doesn't happen, yeah, and then what? And then what? Life continues, life goes on. And you might find a new deck. You might find that you are attracted to an oracle deck, or to a person, or to a shop, or to a restaurant. Wherever that decision you make is just a step forward. And the state you make a decision in makes the big difference. So I talk about this in the book of Psychic Protection, how to higher your vibrations, also with Nest of Light Oracle. The unique goal that one can have is really just to keep the vibrations high, to have a higher perspective in order to make the best choices, even if these choices are really small. And one last thing I want to share with you is to just reduce things that you have to decide on. You know, there are some parts on our lives that can be automatic. They can be automatic. And if they are not automatic, maybe just let the body choose and feel your own body deciding about what food he wants, what type of drinks, what type of clothes, what type of mood, what type of people he feels right with. Let your body choose. Don't do everything with your mind, because it is really tiring and it can bring burnout. So get back to the body, get back to simplicity, get back to automatization, automatic decisions about some things, so that you free your mind in order to feel space, in order to feel openness, and to open yourself to more magic, because simplicity is magic. Simplicity brings magic. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you for today. It feels awkward to talk about my creations at the end of the video, but if you feel that this is the choice you have to make, well, yeah, it's really up to you. But just want to bring here that I have just published 2 books, one in French and one in English, about the Temple of Roses and the mystery of the rose from a vibration perspective, talking about some teachings I have received at the Temple of Roses, and suggesting some meditations there. Again, it's a simple book, and it is about vibration. It's about feeling. It's about opening the different senses to decide about our life, and not just doing everything from a mind perspective. And also, I have some new cards that I'll be putting on the website. Just give me some time. I'm just back, and I need to restore myself a bit. But they might be there today or tomorrow, today evening or tomorrow. Yeah. So wishing you a very, very nice day, and thank you to Sadhana and to Mixtress Rae. It's just the right name. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.